puck drops here. The puck drops here. The puck drops here. So let's make a lot of noise and raise a big cheer. So let's make a lot of noise and raise a big cheer. Come on along, we're all invited to the coolest game on earth.
Here with Coach Strachan of the Fort Francis Lakers. How are you today, Wayne?
I'm great, Jay. How are you?
Good. Like so, going into this season, your 2018-19 season, it's your 10th season with Fort Francis. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I guess it's something I obviously love to do and be a part of, and kind of had my hand in starting the Lakers, and just through the years of I really have a lot of respect for the organization and what the board of directors and volunteers do, and obviously like to give back to the young hockey players and help them reach their goals and help them develop as people and players.
And like say, through the first 9 years, like say 3 championships, 3 coaches of the year. You've helped over 56 players move on to school or the SIJHL. As a coach and as an organization, what does that mean to the organization?
Well, I think it just says what we're all about, and the personal awards are reflective of the entire organization, the hard work that's put in to make this go off the ice, and through the players and my staff, obviously having that work ethic and doing what it takes to sacrifice to have success is has helped me along the way as well. And I'm not one for to be big on personal awards. I do obviously like the fact that we have won 3 championships as an organization and a program, and obviously that's striving for greatness is one of the things that we try to instill in our players, and hopefully we can get back there this season.
And like to say, with the last couple seasons, not that you struggled, but like not where you've been with the championships. Before we get into talking about the 2 exhibition games, what do you guys have to do this year to turn those tables?
We need a total commit level from the players, and not that we didn't have it at times through the past couple of years. It needs to be the 20 guys dressed, or 23, 25 guys that we're carrying all on one page, and having solid character and believing in themselves to improve throughout the season. And of course you're going to have ups and downs and go through times where everyone's going to question everything, but if we can stay positive, have the character that we need to persevere and be resilient, I think that we can come together and make good things happen.
And you've had two games, like say in the exhibition season so far, and you're preparing for the next 2 tomorrow night and Saturday. Can you talk about those 2 first exhibition games and what you saw, the positives and negatives of them?
Through the first game, I guess on the road in 3-2 victory, kind of what you would expect maybe from your first exhibition game, and it was a little bit sloppy at times. The positives definitely outweighed the negatives, and we were able to hold off kind of a late comeback by the Iron Rangers, and something we could, I guess, learn from the first game is to always play at our level of play, and the second thing would be to watch our penalties late in hockey games, and not take unnecessary penalties or bad penalties, so to speak, to allow teams back in the game. And then the next night in Fort Francis, and we finished the game off 6-2. I thought all around was a much better effort by our guys, and due to some injuries and whatnot, the same 20 guys played both games, but even in the first period was a little bit choppy at times. We did control the momentum, but we just have to learn how to play with leads. We went up 1-0, let them tie it up shortly after. We go up 2-1, and then they tied up shortly after that again. So few areas to look at and definitely improve on, but all in all, I thought through the second and third period that we definitely outworked them, played a very fast and aggressive, and because of that, won a lot of puck battles and hounded that puck to create opportunities, and we obviously were able to capitalize with 4 more goals to win the hockey game.
And excuse me, and that leads us into the next question. Where can you talk a little bit about the rookies and like say who they are and who's new on your roster?
Yeah, we have I guess in the neighborhood of 12 fresh faces. We have a couple defensemen that have played really well as of late, and Nate Drobnik is one of them. He's a big, solid skater. Plays the game very heads up. He's from Burnsville, Minnesota, and he played for their high school team last season. We also have Dane Bateman from out in BC, the Penticton area, and he's also a defenseman and played for Fort St. John Huskies in Junior B out in BC last season. Up front, local forward Nick Hackle has really been impressive through camp and through the first 2 games. And last year, he actually played AAA midget out in North Bay for I believe it's the Trappers. And another out-of-town guy who comes from Burnsville, played in the NA3 last year for North Iowa and lacrosse. Lucas Barron has also played solid for us. So we do have 9 local players. Some of them are returning, and they definitely all have contributed in some way through camp and obviously through the first 2 exhibition leading into tomorrow night. So we like where we're at, and we'll keep working hard to break some bad habits, but I think we can have nowhere to grow but a team.
And that says, like, say, with the location of Fort Francis in northwestern Ontario and having 9 local area players from the area, what does that say about the hockey in the area of Fort Francis?
Well, I think we're going through definitely a good cycle. We've our minor hockey has produced a lot of solid players as of late and helped their development with the coaches that were, I guess, brought on board through the last few years to help these guys out. And many of our players still play high school. Some head up to Kenora for AAA midget or Thunder Bay. But a lot of our guys are homegrown and come through the minor hockey system into our high school program, which people don't really look at high school as strong or a place to further develop. But our high school definitely has that aspect, and the coaches have done a good job in leading these guys to help develop and obviously to a lot of championships for the community. So I think we're in a good spot, and like I said, we'll keep growing and getting better.
And that says something about the Muskie High School program when they're going, like say, over the last so many years, they've been at OFSA, the provincial championship. So it's just something about that program at Fort Francis High School, doesn't it?
For sure. It's got a rich history of having success, and again, I think it's just a tribute to how the kids have went through the system here and done very well, and they learn how to have success, and they learn how to compete, and that carries over into the high school program, and in which they've had a lot of success in winning their league and heading down to OFSA. So it's definitely good for Fort Francis and that community.
And you had mentioned, like, again, not against anything against last year's players or the veterans, but like, say for this year with the struggles that you went through last year, who do you expect to step up and take leadership roles this season?
Well, I think we did a good job of looking at character through this year, and we will be stressing, and obviously we got rid of maybe a couple guys that we definitely needed to make our situation a little better here this year. So we'll be looking to up front Nick Lucas, obviously our returning point getter, leading point getter from last year. He's had a great summer. He's coming to camp looking very good and strong, and we'll expect him to kind of lead the way again on the ice, and definitely look for him to be a leader off the ice. Jaden Ness, who returns as our top goal getter last year. Same hand in hand with Nick. They played together last year. Not sure at this time what we're going to do this year yet as far as lines, but another guy we're going to have to lean on the ice, and definitely a guy who has a lot of spirit and emotion to keep the guys pumped up and whatnot. We've added a couple veterans up front. One is a local player, Brett Hackala, which we got from Powassan of the Northern Ontario Junior League, and Brett has a little bit of OHL experience. He's won a championship with Powassan, I believe a regular season championship as well last year, and he's been to the Dudley Hewitt, so we're going to definitely rely on his experience both on and off the ice, and see him as being a big factor for us. And we brought in a 20-year-old guy from Thunder Bay, Kirk Kopic, and he showed a lot of leadership qualities coming in. He's worked hard. He's battling a little bit of a minor injury right now, but he's still out there pushing himself and showing guys just what it takes to have success at this level. A couple other returnees on the back end, Anthony Antonelli. If you could put his heart in every player you had, coaches would be definitely happy having 20 guys like him on the ice. He's dedicated. He works hard. He's first guy at the rink, normally last guy off the ice, and he's working hard to improve and get himself ready for each and every game. And a lot of players can just look at him and see what it's all about. Dedicate yourself and want to reach your goals. And The other guy would be Noah Loveday, who's a veteran and played for us last year, and he definitely can be a kind of a hard-nosed guy, and he plays that style too, and a guy that is a little bit boisterous around the room when it's needed, and a guy that can kind of get his message across if it's again needed like that. So we haven't really looked at captains or assistants, but obviously after this weekend we'll definitely be naming our leadership for the season, and hopefully they'll take control of the team.
And that's the thing. Like the season A's, it helps, but there's a lot of times there's players who aren't wearing the season A's still step up as leaders, don't they?
For sure. And your season A's are kind of a mandatory thing, or a policy you need to follow, and but there's definitely guys that can help lead the way and be leaders or be a leader, and not having a CNA on his jersey, and as a group, hopefully we're tight knit, and the leadership just leads the way.
And when it doesn't matter what level of hockey, if it's house league, AAA, junior, right up to the NHL. Sometimes that CNA puts out too much pressure on some players, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. Some guys don't respond or don't react well to maybe the pressure of having it on them, or they feel a little more pressure or stress on them to when things are maybe not going the right way or whatnot. But really, it's just a formality that for talking to the referees, and it's obviously guys that teams feel they can lead the way and show the younger guys the positive, I guess, path of junior A hockey and or whatever, I guess, like you mentioned, if it's at the pro level or not, lead the way in leading the team.
And to talk a little bit about last year, you went through a number of goalies. Can you talk about who so far is right now on your roster and where they played last season?
We have 3 goalies on, I guess, our tryout roster right as we speak. And obviously going to be a tough decision trying to get down to 2 before regular season starts next week. But we have Matt Booth here. He's a local kid that has come to us from the Kenora AAA Thistles midget program. He hasn't seen any preseason action as of yet, but we're definitely hoping to give him some time this weekend. We have 20-year-old Dawson Rodden here. He's from Chilliwack, BC, and played for the Utah Outliers in the WSHL last season. Had a very successful year, and the team led the team deep into the playoffs with an opportunity to win the championship. And then we have Tyler Sturm also here, and he's a 19-year-old goalie from Thunder Bay and played Junior B out in Saskatchewan last year for Pilot Butte. And both Dawson and Tyler looked good through the first 2 preseason games, and it's definitely not making the coach's decision any easier. And all 3 have battled hard through practice, and so we feel we're headed in the right direction with I guess whomever we choose, and it's definitely not going to be an easy decision.
And you have 2 more exhibition games in the 2018 preseason, and you're meeting the Red Lake Miners, who were the English River Miners, but now they play in Red Lake, so now they renamed the team. Can you talk a little bit about going into those 2 games and what you guys have to do to get a 4-0 record for the exhibition season?
Well, I think we first and foremost need to know that they're going to come in and be a lot more intense than I guess what we saw last weekend. If you look at past minor teams and how their coach wants them to play, they're aggressive. They're in your face. They play fast, and they usually have a couple dangerous guys that can hurt you on the ice. So we're going to have to match their intensity, raise our level of play from last weekend, and definitely, I guess, continue to grow our game with 2 weeks of kind of system practice and trying to get things a little bit down pat and playing the way that we want to play. So it's going to be a good test. Definitely give us another opportunity to evaluate what we have and see where guys are going to fit in and what type of role they can play for us this season.
And the last question, we touch based on it again, like you say, last season and last April 6th, we lost players in the hockey world with the Humboldt Bronco accident. And last night, anybody involved in hockey or the junior world probably sat and watched the game on TSN, and I think most of us probably watched it through a blurry screen because we were all in tears. But from a coach's point of view, how does that hit home when being like say, as a coach, you're responsible for 20 odd players for the season?
Yeah, last night was definitely a great tribute. Humboldt did very, very well in that manner and in honoring the 29 people that were on the bus. And I wasn't able to see the opening ceremony or the first part of the game as we had a thunderstorm roll through and TV was kind of acting up. But I obviously got the opportunity to watch the end of the game and see the the banner celebration and whatnot to honor the victims and obviously the players that are still with us and it was definitely it hits home. You ride that bus like I said last year and you kind of think you're invincible or nothing will happen and the reality of it is if it does, it's definitely a scary thing and not a good thing, obviously, as we see what happens. So, to be the leader, so to speak, and the coach of the program, you always want the best for your players, the safety, put them in the right situations to have success, and obviously to get from point A to B as safe as you can. So, it's just something horrific and tragic that's taken place, and Humboldt has been definitely strong and through the process, but you can see what those I guess the people that have passed away from the program meant to the community, to the organization, to their friends and family, and right across the world, and all that. Everyone that responded to help them out. So it's definitely a bad, tragic thing, but it's great to see how everyone has rallied to help in some way to maybe ease some of the pain that everyone has.
And in that situation shows how strong the junior hockey community is across Canada and North America, doesn't it?
For sure, and I think it's a great thing what the SIJHL is doing to honor the team from last year. Every team will have a banner in their rink, and wear stickers on their helmet, and definitely I think everyone will be playing for the people that have passed away, and have them in their hearts every time they step on the ice.
Well, Wayne, I can't thank you enough for taking your time out today, and good luck in the final 2 games of the exhibition season, and we'll talk next week.
Sounds good, Jay. Thank you.
Thank you.